kind of look at the, what led to the fall. So for right now, just listen. How are we doing? Okay. Mrs. Jardine and I had been pinnacle partners for many years. I know she always felt she was reasonably healthy despite a bad back, stiff knees, and the usual aches and pains. We often chuckled over her tendency to sometimes misplace things when she put them down. She blamed this on her failing eyesight due to cataract on one eye. Over the years, I was aware of her having several falls but no real injuries, except for the time she tripped over the curb at the grocery store. She blamed that fall on needing new glasses. After her fall at the grocery store, Mrs. Jardine preferred to stay at home, where she felt safe and comfortable. I remember on one visit she showed me large bruises on her leg and head as she blurted out the story of a fall she had a few nights before. She told me that sometimes she had to get up at night to go to the bathroom and kept a flashlight near her bed or left one on her nightlight, but on the night of her fall she did neither. She got up in the early morning hours and needed to go to the bathroom. She groped around in the pitch dark, unable to find the light. She sat down in what she thought was the toilet, and her bladder let go. She moved back onto the seat, but it was too late. She realized she was sitting on the edge of the bathtub and fell very heavily on her back and head. She told me I couldn't get out, and my bladder gave away terribly, and I was soaked. And I soaked myself. I was in shock. I took off my nightgown and was just sitting there in the pitch dark. I felt very cold and frightened, and for a long time I didn't think I could get myself out of the bathtub. As I moved, I realized that my back was in pain and my head was bleeding. I finally managed to wrap my nightgown around the faucet and gradually turned over onto my knees. I then pulled myself up after what seemed like ages. I don't know how I pulled myself up. I stood there for a moment, then crawled along the edge of the bathtub. I got the other leg out with the help of the vanity, and by the time I was drenched. I'd wet myself so many times I was soaked, a horrible feeling. At one of our visits sometime later, it seemed that the horror of that stressful night still plagued Mrs. Jardine. She always talked a lot about her worsening back, and it was evident she could not move around as she used to. Things had somehow changed for her since the night fall. In some way, her confidence deteriorated, and her ability to get around decreased. She went out less and became weaker. She moved into a nursing home, and my dear friend died within a year. What factors do you think contributed to her fall? So what were some things that...
No light.
Right. Lighting is a huge piece.
It's the good night lights now, that stay on all the time.
Yep, I have one over there that's motion sensor, so then when you start walking, or like you said, they are, as soon as it gets dark, the solar ones or whatever, when they're, yep. Does anyone not have night lights? Not currently using them in their bathroom, in their bedroom? Everyone's good in that department? Okay. What else was a problem that led to the fall?
Not knowing where you were at.
Not turning the light on in the room.
Yeah.
Right.
Even into the room.
Especially, she knows she has bad vision, and then she's not using the proper compensation strategies for that.
Right.
So a big thing is letting go of, oh, I can do it, I don't need that, right? Use the tools that are there to make you safer.
Right.
So one of the things was, on here, she was not accepting aging changes and not believing that she needed a nightlight,
Yeah.
Yep. Another thing was, since if she has incontinence problems, where if you right, if that happens because you got to get up and go fast, and you're going to rush and not do it safely,
Right.
like she did.
Right.
So getting that addressed, talking with your doctor if you have those concerns. There is, physical therapy can help with incontinence. It's the same thing, it's a muscle that does that, it's the same muscle that works any other part of our body, so. If at one point in the story, it talked about how she, bad back, stiff knees, aches and pains. So like you said, you have that friend who does or the woman that used to help, right? She'd get up and start her stretches. There are so many people with different aches and pains or arthritis, whatever it may be, starting your day with exercise, and then you can walk and move a lot better, so.
Well, it's easy to be in denial, but you don't wanna accept what's happening.
Right.
You need to change.
Yes, it's
Medication has a lot to do with
definitely, yep.
it. I got Parkinson's and it's my problem.
Have you ever heard of the Big and Loud program with Parkinson's?
Have we?
Yes.
I teach it.
He forgets,
Well, now,
you know.
that was another part on here on the list. Relying on her memory rather than strategies to switch on a nightlight automatically. So if you do have if you forget things easily, then you're gonna forget to do that, but needing to make it more of a habit. Yep, lighting is really important.
You can get nightlight now that come on automatically when it gets dark.
Yep, those are,
That's what you should have, that you wouldn't have.
That's when they.
right,
everything
exactly.
should have.
Yes, so changing, if you have one, and it is one you have to turn on and off, it's better to have one that just automatically comes on.
I have them all over the house.
Do you? Yeah.
At night. Those are off during the day, and when I walk by at night, it's dark, they come on.
Yep.
My yard light shines in the, not really new.
Okay, there you go.
No, it's not bright, but it's light enough so you can see where you're
And
going.
the telephone office over there has a nightlight on the building, and it shines through right straight through my
Oh, gee.
trailer house.
My kids, so they don't know how I can sleep, cause how I go to sleep. The kitchen, I have that oven light on all night, and my alarm clock is lit up, it lights the whole room. And then the night lights, but you get used to things.
Right, yeah.
I never forget now,
Yeah.
I go to bed.
And having a good clear path to the bathroom,
Yeah, that.
right? So thinking about, are you needing to move, are things in your way, so it's, safety with that. Not having to reach for,
Have a walker.
is that when you got your walker next to your bed, so then you have that? Yep. Yep, some people do that, they'll have it, especially for middle of the night times when you're a little more out of it, then you have the walker.
I use that all the time.
Well, that's something else too, like you said, Shelby, on, admitting when there is a problem and asking for help or knowing you need help, so if you do need, not being ashamed of a cane or a walker, because it's there to help you.